What is up, friends and neighbors? What a lovely day. Oh, just a lovely day. I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's there, Dave. Don't give me this shit. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite. Let me slow down so the camera's not so jarring. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics of all time. Fear. Let's overcome fear, man. Everybody needs to overcome some fear, because we all have it. And if you don't, if you say you're not afraid of anything, you're a fucking liar. I don't care who you are. Yeah, we want to talk about fear and how to get over fear, how to get past your fear. Because the more, look, the bottom line is the more shit you fear and the more shit you're trying to avoid, the more energy you waste. And what I want to do is teach you guys and help you guys put your energy to good use into living the life that you want, rather than avoiding the shit that you fear, avoiding discomfort, avoiding, all that other shit. So, long enough rant. I'm going to give you three ways to get over your fears, okay? In order of importance. Number one, right? Reason it away, okay? Think about your fear in a way that you can write it off, right? So this is the opposite of talking yourself out of stuff. So when we're scared sometimes, we talk ourselves out of doing the thing that we're wanting to do, right? So that's the fearful way. The opposite actually applies too. You can talk yourself into the thing. You can talk yourself out of the fear, right? You're reasoning yourself through the fear. Basically, this works the best with little fears that are irrational, like fear of flying, or some random thing that is not likely to occur. Talk about just giving yourself a pep talk, okay? That's what this is. Reasoning through the fear. Going and giving yourself reasons why you should not fear that thing, and you're giving yourself the talk, okay? So that's number one. Number two, I call this, it's a combination of visualization and soft exposure. Sorry about that, sun, if you can't see anything. Visualization and soft exposure. Two things in one, right? So what I'm talking about is exposing yourself to the thing that you fear in a way that you're not actually putting yourself in danger of what you fear. Does that make sense? So let me give an example. When I was doing mixed martial arts, okay, UFC style cage fighting shit, in case you're not familiar. Don't know how you wouldn't be familiar, but that's okay. It's okay if you're not. Just know that it's mixed martial arts, cage fighting. When I was doing that, look, we all get nervous, man, right before a fight. And as you're walking out, that shit is nerve-wracking. But what I noticed is when I was watching matches, cage matches on TV, I felt the same nervousness when everyone else was getting ready to come out and do their fight. Does that make sense? So I wasn't even the one fighting. I'm watching it on TV, but I felt the same feelings that I would get when I did a real fight. So that's what I'm talking about, is soft exposure. So soft exposure, me watching it on TV, I was able to slowly, like the more I watched it, the more I realized, and I visualized myself in that position, and I'm talking myself through how I would in a normal fight. Does that make sense? So I'm putting myself through visualization actually there, because I'm feeling the sensations of what I would feel, and then I'm walking myself through how to get over that sensation. Okay? That's soft exposure in a nutshell. Like if you're afraid of spiders, watch videos of spiders, watch videos of snakes, watch videos of all the things you fear, or stuff like that. And then number 3, this is the most powerful way to overcome your fear. Any fear, they use this in therapy. This is exposure, right? Exposure therapy is what they do. Like if you went to a professional, which I'm going to get to that in a minute too. Exposure therapy, which is gradually exposing yourself to the thing that you're fearing in small doses, and then you increase the dose over time, and eventually you overcome the fear, or it's tremendously reduced to where it's not really a problem anymore. All right, and I call this not exposure therapy, but gradual acclimation. And the reason I call it that is because of the way I teach martial arts. I recommend using gradual acclimation to get people used to stress testing the actual martial art, because you don't want to take a martial art that there's no stress testing and no pressure testing, right? You have to get in there. You have to get hit. You have to hit back. You got to get some roughness. But gradual acclimation means that you build up. You don't just take a brand new person off the street, throw them in there and beat the fucking shit out of them and hope that they're going to come back. Does that make sense? Because if you dive in, if you're for sure not like, you can dive in and just face your fear head on and overcome it faster, right? It's up to you how much you ramp up in this process. You can do that, but there's also a risk that you might be traumatized in the process. So if I took a little kid who's brand new to martial arts and I put him in there with a veteran kid and they beat the shit out of him, that kid is not coming back, I promise, unless that kid likes violence or whatever. But anyway, gradual acclimation. You want to slowly expose yourself to the thing that you fear and increase, you want to prolong the exposure after a time so that you get used to the thing. Really what you're doing in this process is you're exposing yourself to the thing that you fear, and you're realizing that it's not so bad after all, right? Heights are a big one for some people. Public speaking, that's the other thing. Public speaking, you have to just go do it. Okay? All right, y'all. My phone died right in the middle of filming that last part, but long story short, you get the gist of it. 3 ways of overcoming fear. See, I'm not afraid to talk while I'm driving. Just because I film while driving doesn't mean I'm like staring right at the camera. It's no different than me talking to anyone that would be sitting right there. In case you're worried about me, 3 ways of getting over fear. 1, just reason through it, okay? Reason it out. Make sure you convince yourself, for a lot of these things, you can convince yourself that it's not a big deal. Number 2 is visualization and soft exposure. Find ways of exposing yourself to this particular fear without actually putting yourself in danger. By the way, that's what fear is. Fear is an emotion, a feeling caused by a perceived threat. All right? The key there is perceived. It doesn't even have to be a real threat for you to fear this thing. In fact, in Lorikism, fear is fiction, is what we used to say to remind ourselves that fear starts and ends in the mind, okay? It starts in your mind, and that's where you go to kill your fear. So, number 3, though, is gradual acclimation, or exposing yourself to the thing that you fear in whatever doses you can handle. It's no different than progressive overload. which is how you get stronger when you work out. All right, progressive overload, basically you start with a weight that you can handle safely, and you lift that weight until it gets easier, and then you add weight to your regimen. All right, and that's how you get stronger. And then you do that weight that's uncomfortable until it gets easier, and then you add weight. So gradual acclimation is the process of overcoming your fear by exposing yourself to them. We're stopping. We are stopping, young man. Getting out of this car. That's it for today, though. Seriously, if you have any comments, questions, if I'm wrong about anything, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, okay? And subscribe. Cool? Subscribe so you can see all my shit. And you can help me out, too. Then, you can also let me know if there's any particular topics that you want me to talk about. And if you want to support the show, go look in the comments. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. You can find my books on Amazon in my store. Again, this has been your dose of daily vitamin D. Overcome your fears, okay? May your emblem endure and quit whining.